Or let's say that you're in a spot where, hey, we want to purchase some stuff. Like, we want to really do this thing. What should you purchase? And again, this is my opinion only. This is what I believe is real today. This is what I would start with. And I wish I had better animations for it, but I don't. So the first place that I would start with is your legacy tools that you have right now. And start to think those through. Again, we're assuming that you have kind of that KMS and everything's in place. Workforce management, who knows what workforce intelligence is on CX1? Who uses workforce intelligence on CX1? Love you guys. All right, we're gonna talk about that either. It's the most underutilized, I think, AI tool now in the whole suite. And the CX1 people do a terrible job talking about it. Like, I'm the biggest advocate for that thing. So workforce management, workforce intelligence, analytics, RPA, advanced routing, all these things that you can do now, right, that are part of your platform, that you can use in different ways, right? I would start there. I would either start to look at some of these tools, especially in analytics if you don't have it, right? Come on, guys, let's grow up. Let's get some analytics, right? I think that those type of tools get you thinking down the right path. Okay, so we're cool with that. What are some of the tools that are newer, that I believe are the most mature, that I would say, hey, I think that could help you depending on your use case, not everybody, but depending on your use case, is Agent Assist, right? Copilot, real-time analytics, Supervisor Assist. Those type of back-end agent tools are pretty darn mature. And they can add a lot of value. Where can they add a lot of value? If you have obviously the more complex your contact center is, the more that these tools are gonna help, right? If you have a quick 2-minute and 30 call, and half of your calls are password reset, that's an extreme example, but you get what I'm saying. I wouldn't get any of that, right? I wouldn't do that. That's not most of us. Most of us have complex situations of how skills are set up, how the calls come in, where agents are asking a ton of questions in Slack or in Teams all the time. And we can now automate that depending on if you have your back end and you have your KMS, and you have all that stuff built out well, right? Agent Assist is amazing, right? For us being in a BPO, right? I do not have, and I'm looking at this, the CX1 and the Enlighten and the Copilot and that. We use a third-party Agent Assist. I will tell you, in every single RFP that I have seen in the last 18 months, Agent Assist is not something that companies are asking for, they're demanding it. So that means Agent Assist is becoming very mainstream. It's something to look at. It's not that difficult to employ as long as you kind of have some of your back-end stuff in order. This is the question I always get on that as well. Depending on your use case, like I have seen a 15 to 30 second, 30 second is aggressive. Lowering of average handle time. If you have a really good, and say you have a 5 to 7 minute call, I think you can lower it by about that much, which is, again, if you have 100 agents, if you have 10,000 agents, if you have 500 agents, it's a big difference. And you had nothing to do with generative chatbots. You just lowered it by helping your agents doing that, which also could lower headcount. Okay, so I thought this was just totally ingenious, right? I got my green, that's the good stuff. This is like, well, it's coming, and that's like, oh God, right? So then I call them the GPT tools, right? I don't know if that's not really the official name for them, but that's kind of what I call them, right? So auto summary, that should be in the green. That's why I kind of have it first. I think auto summarization is great, especially if you have longer after call work. If you don't have long after call work, then I think it's a waste of money. But if you have, 2 minutes of memoing, and then you got to fill out forms, and your after call work or your wrap time is, over a minute, that's crazy then. Especially, times in the amount of agents that you have, when it can instantly summarize what you have, throw it in your Salesforce, throw it in your CRM. Amazing tool, super mature, ready to go. All right, I'm going to talk about auto QA because there's a lot of BS with auto QA. I think we are, and again, I'm not pubbing what we're doing, but we have a company and we're trying to basically use ChatGPT, to fully automate the forms, right? I don't want any proprietary scoring. I want this form that if I know an agent has an 89 on it, I know what an 89 is. And I want that same exact form. And there's a lot of auto QA that's coming out that's basically either giving you a proprietary scoring, they're basically giving you sentiment scoring. What's going on here, man? Like, and I think that there's 2041. You never heard that. And I think you need to be careful with the auto QA stuff. What it can do today now in a year, if somebody tells you, hey, right now, if you have 10,000 calls a day and we can auto score all of your calls, 100% of your calls, they're lying to you. They're absolutely lying to you. That's not true, right? I haven't seen it. Maybe you guys can prove me wrong on that. But if they're using some type of LLM or ChatGPT model, the fastest that we've seen the APIs is about 1.5 to 2 minutes per call, right, for each scoring. Now we can do a bunch of them, but be careful when you hear those type of things, because ask what that score really means. Now I can do sentiment scores, right, on our analytics, 100% of my calls. Well, that's great, but it's not scoring calls, right? Be careful with that. Something that I have started to see more is education and role playing with kind of these GPT models. So having an agent go through a library, a ticked off customer, a happy customer, a customer that's maybe older, somebody who wants to get off the phone quick, like all these different scenarios. The reason you're seeing it be not fully deployed is because it's mostly just chat right now, right? Because voice isn't totally there yet, or it's very expensive there, but you're gonna see that too. So that's like a tool that, don't worry about that now, but next year, when there's voice, that thing's gonna fly. Okay, and then quickly, we have the chatbots. And again, I have these last, right? So I'm gonna ruin my next 3 slides, but that's all right. I believe in more of an agent-centric roadmap. Agent first, get everybody used to it. Let's lower as much handle time as we can. Now we can still do this but again, going back to that credit union who has their core is integrated, their customer-facing data is integrated, they have full online banking, their securities that maybe they have biometrics already. Why am I gonna spend so much money to redo my whole thing for a chat? Like, what am I getting out of it? I don't see it yet. Now, granted, in 2 years from now, the amount of data that it's gonna be able to utilize is crazy. But again, I don't think it makes sense today. God, I don't know, I hope the nice people are not looking at me like, want to kill me. I don't think it's good enough today, or to the right move today, to scrap your self-service. If you think you have a good self-service model, when you have all these other tools that are super mature, when this one's not mature at all, and who knows what way that's gonna go.